weeknights on Sky News.
This is your chance. Tell people.
Welcome to the Politics Hub.
Our police force has apologised.
If you want to find out about Grimsby, you come to the docks.
I'm live in Jerusalem.
Are you not concerned that that could lead to all-out war?
Hello there, good evening. There are fears of an upsurge in violence. What's at stake here?
You are watching the press preview, a first look at the front pages as they arrive.
Well, hello there. You're watching the press preview, a first look at what is on the front pages. In the next half hour, then, we'll see what's making the headlines with the political journalists Theo, Usherwood and Carolyn Quinn. Happy Christmas to both of you. I hope it's not been too disruptive being here.
No,
much appreciated.
Delightful.
So let's take a look at the front pages then. Shall we start with the Daily Mail then, leading with the King's Christmas message, paying tribute to medics who have supported his family this year. The Daily Mirror goes with the same story, highlighting a picture of the Princess of Wales hugging a cancer patient. The Times says Whitehall is making contingency plans for a surge in state school demand, fearing private schools may shut down due to rising fees. Daily Express reports that shops are hoping for a Boxing Day spending spree following the impact of Labour's tax-raising budget on businesses. The Eye says opinion polls show the Labour Party losing popularity as voters shift towards Reform UK. The Telegraph says hunters will face tougher penalties for killing animals under new government plans. The Guardian reports that weight loss injections are being aggressively marketed to UK consumers through often illegal promotions, creating a wild west of drug selling. Well, don't forget the QR code. You can scan that while you're watching the programme. Check out those front pages while you listen to our guests. So let's head straight to Theo and Carolyn. Not surprisingly, many newspapers have the royals on the front page. Carolyn, some wonderful pictures there of the Princess of Wales, for example. And after the truly terrible year they've had, I think Prince William called it probably the hardest year of my life, describing it as brutal. You know, fantastic to see them there meeting well-wishers and smiling.
Yeah, really, really poignant, I think, to see them all together like that. And a lot of focus on the fact that the Queen and the Princess of Wales both wearing green. Because in the old days, under the Queen, you never wore the same outfit as her. But now they've obviously done a joint decision to go out resplendent in green. But I think the fact is the smiles. She looks so well, doesn't she, Kate? We were talking about this earlier, you know, when we last saw her on the balcony.
Compared to, Remembrance Sunday.
On Remembrance Sunday. She still looked quite frail, but here she looks like she's certainly getting back on form. And lovely to see the King surrounded by all the family.
Well, you know, you say all, it's not quite all, but, but we know what you're saying.
Certain figures are missing, although Beatrice, and Prince Andrew's daughter, is there with her husband, I think, because she's pregnant, she's expecting her child, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she was told not to travel, but anyway, that seems to be while she was there. But, yeah.
All I was going to say is I watched the pictures of the royal family obviously arriving at Church of Sandringham and leaving and greeting well-wishers, and I just thought that the whole tenet of it was fantastic. It was, you know, it was actually... It was warming to be able to see that because, and I was just comparing and contrasting in my own mind to the Christmas messages from the political leaders, from Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch, and they just seemed to be disconnected from the ordinary voter, disconnected from, you know, how, and very downbeat as well. And I just thought that the King in his message managed to recognise how difficult the year had been for his family, how difficult it had been for himself, and obviously the Princess of Wales. But in the way that the royal family met with well-wishers outside Sandringham, I thought there was a really positive tone to it, and it was lovely to see.
And the King's speech really was a speech for all faiths as well, which was really interesting. The move towards talking about diversity and the importance of that, and raising memories of what happened in the summer riots, and saying that the efforts of the way that different communities built links between them after the anger and the lawlessness of the summer riots. It was interesting that he touched on that as well. So,
well, there's the inside pages. I mean, showing the resplendent green, all earthy colours. I feel like it's a rewilding session as I look at it, actually. But special show of support for the King and Kate at Sandringham, and they really took their time, didn't they, saying hello to those people, some of whom was camped as usual. But in terms of the King and his message, I mean, it was a real show that not only is he head of the royal family, he's head of the Church of England, he's head of the Commonwealth, and all parts getting a mention in the speech today.
Yes, and I think that's important because there's obviously been, it's been a very difficult year for the Church of England with the resignation of Justin Welby as the Archbishop of Canterbury, and of course question marks over Stephen Cotterill, the Archbishop of York, about whether he can really is the right person to take over. So I think it's been for the establishment, and I'm talking about the royal family, Church of England. It has not been the easiest of year, and I think also mentioned for Prince Louis, he's turning into a bit of a star, hoarding all of the chocolates and gifts from well-wishers. Every time there's whether it's covering his ears with a fly pass, he's turning into I worked with some of the royal photographers way back when, and they're always looking for something that little bit different, and Prince Louis certainly delivers.
it looks like he's about to grab one of those things that you put over your head with a Santa hat on. So I wonder whether he'll be able to wear that for the rest of the day. But he's, as you say, he's clutching those donations of chocolate quite firmly. He's not going to give those up, is he?
There's a real look of delight on his face.
Absolutely.
Interesting that both spares of monarchs were not there, Prince Harry and Andrew, obviously. In the meantime, the Daily Mirror, with love and hugs, much made of this, that the Princess of Wales hugged a cancer patient, Karen McLean. She's 73. She's from North Lincolnshire, who said she had had 20 years of cancer, and spoke with both the Princess and Charles about the disease. We have just had a little talk about cancer, really, she said, and said it was an absolute privilege to meet them. But, there's this bonding, element of their cancer journey, which people have really appreciated, I think, don't you think, from the royal family?
There's never a silver lining to cancer. There's never, for what families go through, what the royal family has been through. You can never say, oh well, this is some kind of benefits that's come out of it. But I think it's certainly true to say that and you can see the pictures on the front of the Daily Mirror with Kate hugging Karen and the smile afterwards from the Princess of Wales. That certainly there is a newfound ability to relate, to connect. Yeah. And this is a disease that affects women and men, millions across the country, and it's given the Princess of Wales and indeed the King an opportunity, as we've seen in Sandringham today, to find a way of connecting with those with the public. And I always, when Queen Elizabeth II died, a couple of years ago now, there were I think there was a moment when we were all unsure where the royal family was heading, because obviously the longevity of her reign and Prince Charles having to fill the most enormous shoes. Where was he going to take the royal family? And I just, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I just think that seeing today and the reaction today from those at Sandringham and the way that the Princess of Wales and the King have handled it, and the Christmas message, that the royal family seems to have finished the year in a rather, in a positive frame of mind, and they seem to have found their own footing following Queen Elizabeth's reign.
There does feel more of a connection. I think speeches in the past will have thanked members of the NHS for the hard work that they do. Yeah. But here it was that heartfelt personal message, wasn't it? The King using that address to thank the doctors and the nurses who had helped him. And you did get the feeling that he was referring directly to certain individuals who had helped him through this really difficult period, and the Princess of Wales as well. And he talked of the uncertainties and the anxieties of illness. I think you're absolutely right that it's... This thank you speech was heartfelt, and there was real gratitude there for people in the health service, and it means far more, in a way, coming from somebody like him that has been through it.
Yeah, and indeed Princess Royal, who had a horse accident, didn't she? And Camilla, who had a form of pneumonia as well. Do you mind if I move on? Because we've got lots to pack in. From Christmas Day and this traditional moment, let's head to Boxing Day. The Boxing Day sales, or at least shopping. Daily Express saying shops are relying on sales to beat the budget blues, such as the impact on business of said budget.
Yes, I think this is going to be crucial as we head into the new year. What is going to happen to the economy? Obviously, we had the warnings in the last weeks from the likes of the Confederation of British Industry, the business lobby groups saying that we faced the worst of all worlds, that 2025 was not a positive outlook off the back of the budget. This is going to be the first real test for consumer confidence following that, that delivery of the budget by Rachel Reeves on October the 30th. And the sales are, they're great fun to watch. They're less fun to take part in, but
He says bitterly.
they're less, but actually, I think that there is an added importance this year when we start to get the numbers in from the major retailers about how well they've done, because I think it'll be instructive as to how the public are feeling about money in their own pockets. And yeah,
it'd be very interesting to see that. I'm going to move on again to The Times, which is a budget-related story, which is what to do if private schools face loss of pupils and whether the state sector can actually cope with it. The word bankruptcy there on the front page of The Times, Carolyn.
Well, the Office for Budget Responsibility have produced analysis that The Times are quoting, saying that private schools will pass on 2/3 of the extra costs from VAT onto parents through higher fees and make cuts equivalent to 1/4. Now, for some people, they may brush that off if it's, if they're able to afford high private school fees, it may not add too much to them. There are plenty of people, though, who are sort of on the borderline, who've maybe made a lot of economies to send their children to private school. So it could be that they then have to move into the state sector. Some of those private schools might have to close. We're talking speculatively now, of course, because we don't actually know what the impact will be.
But the point is they're suggesting contingency plans are being drawn up
Yeah,
now.
drawing them up for that increase in demand for state school places because of fears of private schools.
And the end result of the 6 months that Labour has had is the eye. Labour facing growing threat as voters shift to Reform UK. Just quickly, Theo.
Yeah, I think this is fascinating. We've always known that Nigel Farage is actually probably more comfortable facing off against Labour in red wall seats than he is against the Conservatives in the home counties. I think that's actually probably his more of his sweet spot politically. And I think, given the fact that Reform came second to Labour in 98 seats in the general election, and I think the danger is for Labour is they fall into the same box actually as the Conservatives. The Conservatives had 14 years to fix the country. They failed. This is the narrative from Labour and from Reform. So when you hear Kemi Bain not talking about immigration, it's like, well, you had 14 years to fix it. The problem now for Labour is, well, you're in office, you've got the levers of government at your disposal, and you're not fixing it. So Nigel Farage can now start to shift on to, Keir Starmer's battlegrounds.
And Labour MPs are worried about it, especially those in the red wall seats. I think there are groups now of red wall Labour MPs who are saying to Sir Keir Starmer, look, we have to look tougher on immigration. We have to also look like we're addressing the real concerns about the cost of living that are being expressed by our constituents, because otherwise Nigel Farage is just going to steam on through. And as you said, Reform came second in 89 seats, 89 Labour seats.
Very interesting. It feels like this is the mood music for the next couple of years, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
I'm going to stop you. Too much to pack in the next part. Because we will talk about the dozens who've emerged alive from the wreckage of a passenger jet. And we'll take a closer look at what may have caused that crash. Back in a moment. Is that the...
I'm Mark Stone and I'm Sky's correspondent based here in Washington, D.C.
We'd been warned that we would meet people in the lowest moment of their lives.
Their story is one of fundamental American failure. Well, a slow drive for the president as he approaches his golf club, but I have to say there are more media here than there are supporters. We love Trump! I've witnessed the remarkable passion for politics here, but the anger too. This is just the audience that Joe Biden wanted.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
You know, it's easy to go to politics.
But it's important, it's at the heart of the issue.
For all the talk of a toned-down, humbled Trump, yes, maybe there was just a little less rhetoric, a little less divisiveness, but in the end it was the same rhythm, the same speech, the same man.
All them people that died in Russia and Ukraine, they'd still be alive today if Donald Trump was president.
If it was my wish, have a businessman that's strong like Trump, but maybe just doesn't say as much, you know?
We are under Israeli military restrictions in terms of some of the things that we can film, but it's important to be in there. What we've been allowed to see over here is a humanitarian corridor, free wherever you get your news.
A young American medical student is making remarkable things happen.
I've seen a lot of difficult things, and honestly, it breaks my heart. These children don't deserve that.
I don't think there's a single Arab I know who isn't seriously disturbed by what's going on.
And so they gathered for this wonder of nature.
I'm very excited right now.
This is an extraordinary moment beyond anything I could have expected. Sky News, get the full story first.
Migrants risk their lives climbing aboard these trains in search of a dream, the United States.
It's really dangerous. They often get robbed on this train.
They suffer a lot by police, cartels.
What happens to them next, we just don't know. Do you miss your mum?
With Trump coming to the presidency, how much longer will people be accommodated?
The journey you've been through, it's been very difficult at times. Has it been worth it?
See. This is a journey which goes by one name, the Beast.
I'm James Matthews and I'm Sky's US correspondent, based here in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump, it would appear, is about to learn his fate. There's no doubting the strength of this hurricane as it roars through. Sky News, get the full story first. Do you fear a fourth indictment?
He's from Sky News. He's from Sky News. He's entitled to ask me questions.
There's always more to the news than a headline. We want to discover, to delve a little deeper, to find out what's really going on. Explanation, analysis, the people at the heart of every story. I'm Neil Patterson, and this is the Sky News Daily Podcast. So, by the end, we'll hopefully all understand what's going on in the world just that little better. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, welcome back. You are watching the press preview with me once again, Theo Usherwood and Carolyn Quinn. Welcome back to both of you. Let's go to the front page of the Times, shall we? And read, this is the top story, if it's coming, on the top of the Times. You can't give me the front page. OK, let's look at the Oh, there you go. That is the front page, in fact. Holes in fuselage suggest Russians shot down passenger jet. That's the top of the front page. And then the inside pages tells us that dozens emerge alive from the wreck of a passenger jet. And everybody's looking at that part of the plane there, the tail fin, which looks, in some respects, shot out, either by surface-to-air missile or some sort of firing. We don't know. But the speculation was that does not look like a bird strike, which is what we told it was.
Yes, we were initially told this was a bird strike. And, of course, this plane crashed, this passenger jet crashed, killing 38, but somehow 29 people miraculously managed to survive.
There's footage of them stumbling out of that bit of fuselage, isn't there?
I mean, it's extraordinary how they managed to survive. Now, the plane was flying from Azerbaijan across a region where the Russians were defending positions against Ukrainian drone strikes. This is the speculation that as a result of those air defences trying to shoot down Ukrainian drones, this plane was mistakenly hit. And as you can see from the tail fin, it looks like it's some sort of anti-aircraft fire that has struck this plane down, and obviously it's a tragedy, but it looks as though, and it is that we don't have a definitive reason as to why it's come down, but it certainly doesn't look like a bird strike. And what usually happens from the report is that when there's a bird strike, a plane will come down much much faster. The birds will go into the engine and then the plane will come down in a much quicker...
And instead it flew over the Caspian Sea
exactly.
on the wrong side and ended up in Kazakhstan. And,
yes,
and then
and that isn't what...
attempted an emergency landing.
And you don't usually end up in a situation where a plane can continue for so long if their engines have been taken out.
So Russian authorities telling us it was a bird strike and it was diverted because of fog, which is the message we first got. Azerbaijan Airlines has pulled its planes flying to Grozny. There are local reports of drone attack on Wednesday morning as well. So this is the difficulty, isn't it now? So full investigation clearly required to find out if this plane was... Another passenger plane was shot down by, effectively, Russian authorities.
Yeah, I mean, pro-Kremlin media and independent experts are being quoted in the story in the Times, suggesting that the plane may have been shot down by Russian defences. So it does seem as if the analysts are going to be highly active now, trying to see if the results of an air defence missile have caused these holes, as you say.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like a bird strike to experts, but they will be examining it all.
Well, look at these pictures of people coming out of this.
It's just extraordinary, isn't it, that, that one piece of fuselage has stayed intact, allowing these people to escape. The difference between sitting in one row of seats or another, and there they are.
It's very unusual for victims of an air tragedy like this to be able to walk out.
Yes, when it's completely cut in half, isn't it? Definitely. Let's move on. A final look quickly. Gavin and Stacey. We're working. We haven't seen it. Don't tell us anything about it.
No
That's
spoilers,
the point, isn't it?
please,
No spoilers.
please.
And in fact, you were saying, thankfully, there are no spoilers on the front page.
No, actually, the papers have been very good at that because I was worried that I'd have my enjoyment spoiled. But hope you all had a cracking time too, is the Daily Express. And Gavin and Stacey stars say emotional farewell. That's not giving too much away. It's been cracking. Obviously, from this, it sounds like it's been a fantastic programme and we're looking forward to watching it.
Exactly. Carolyn, Theo, for now, thank you both very much indeed. Thank you. Full stories coming up, Sky News at 11. We'll be back in just a moment.
We've got your Sunday mornings covered. From the front page and the sounds of the streets to the voices of the people who make the major calls. And big-picture politics beyond Westminster. We'll put you at the heart of our story. A new start to Sunday. I'm ready. Are you? Join me, Trevor Phillips, Sunday mornings on Sky News.
Weeknights on Sky News.
This is your chance. Tell people. Welcome to the Politics Hub.
Our police force has apologised.
If you want to find out about Grimsby, you come to the docks.
I'm live in Jerusalem.
Are you not concerned that that could lead to all-out war?
Hello there, good evening. There are fears of an upsurge in violence. What's at stake here?
You are watching the press preview, a first look